Well, hello guys, it's David, and today is going to be a very special video, being that it is my second My Experience Working at Blank video. Hey Arthur, are you excited about my second experience working at video? For those of you who have seen my experience working at Chipotle, you already know how this video is going to go down. I mean, I'm not going to shade as many people. Also, I'm still working at Subway. I didn't get fired for, some bullshit like being short on cash 3 times. All that is over. But anyways, today I'm going to be doing my experience working at Subway. To be honest, it doesn't really feel like a year since I've worked at Chipotle. Like, whenever I go back in there, I try not to because it's just such an evil place full of negative energy. But whenever I walk back in there, it's hard for me to believe that I ever worked in a place like this, because compared to Subway, like, the environment is so jail-like. I guess I'll just start with how long I've been working there. I've been working there for about a month and a half. Only a couple of people have been working there for less time than me, but I feel like whenever I work somewhere, I kind of establish my place quickly. More so at Subway than Chipotle, because Chipotle just had a bunch of haters. But it actually made me appreciate working at Subway more because everybody there just had a good vibe, Not everybody, there's like, one person in particular, I'm not gonna name names, but I'll get into that later in the video. But yeah, everybody was super nice. When I went in, the last time I went in to check on my application, I don't even remember putting an application in, actually. I think I just went to an interview with one of the managers. There's like, okay, one thing about working at the Subway and working at Chipotle, I knew who the manager was, I knew who was in charge. It was a done deal. But working at Subway, at least for me, there are like so many tiers of managers that I like literally sometimes I'm like, okay, who do I go to if there's an issue? Like, who's above who? It's really confusing. But whoever this lady was, I guess she liked me, obviously, and decided to hire me. I mean, of course I was excited, but it was more of an excited, like, I knew what I was getting into. Like, when I felt like I worked at Chipotle, when I first got there, I had no clue where to go. It felt like I was just kind of there the first few weeks. But Subway, I walked in first day, made friends easily. It was more about, okay, let's just make this money. So they immediately started me off on the line on the veggie side. Of course, if you know how to make a sandwich, if you are a human, you know how to make a sandwich. And this should be easy for you. I mean, it would still work, obviously, because there's a line of people, There's not a line of people at your house while you're making sandwiches. And one thing that was such a relief was that there wasn't like a designated person on register. It was like, okay, whoever's available can just hop on the register, scan your fingerprint, and then ring up the person. There's not like one person that has to be on the register at all times during these hours. But this video is not about to be a compare and contrast video between Chipotle and Subway. Like, I could care less. I want to talk about the types of customers I've had to endure since I started working here. So when somebody walks in, I of course say, hi, how are you doing? Some people choose to just continue their phone conversation instead of even acknowledging the fact that I said hello to them. Like, the least you could do is at least like do a little wave or like go like, huh, to at least acknowledge that I've spoken to you. But some people are so disrespectful to the people that make their food and have control over whether they get sick or not. That's beyond me. But I'm going to continue. So when they finally get to usually the meat side, some people just choose to stand by the register thinking that a sub will magically get made and it'll be ready to ring up. I ask them what type of sandwich they want, what bread, if they want cheese on it, if they want it toasted, all that good stuff. And they're about to put you to work when they pull out like a piece of paper with a list, or like they pull out their phone like, oh, let me see what this person wants me to get them. And I'm just like, oh shit, that they haven't told you everything they wanted. There's something missing. When I ask what type of cheese is on the sub that the other person is getting, they're just like, you know what, they did not say. Like, if you don't know what you want beforehand, wait outside or don't immediately jump onto the line in front of the people that do know what they want. And occasionally I'll get that one person that doesn't toast something that is just absurd to not toast. Like, you're really gonna get a full-on steak and not toast it? Like, Do you want me to judge you? Like, literally, if you've ever tasted the oven roasted chicken at Subway without heating it, it tastes like those Lunchable chicken nuggets. Like, it's just not something you want to enjoy in your mouth. So moving on to the vegetables, this is where everybody wants to test your limits and your ability to close a sub. And whenever somebody asks for extra of something, I always have that thought in the back of my head, like, you know you're not going to eat all this. Half of it is going to end up on the floor, and I'm going to have to sweep it later. So just save me the trouble and don't get an extra amount of pickles or lettuce. Now that I think about it, you had to have consciously accidentally dropped some of those vegetables, because if you drop 5 pickles on the floor, there's a table beneath you. If it doesn't land on that, it might land on your lap. Okay, we've all done that before, but how does it get onto the floor without you knowing that it got there? So if a person was finally done with their sub, I would wrap it up, put it in a bag, put napkins in, you know, all the usual stuff. And surprisingly, a lot more than a few people do this, and this kind of lessened my fate in humanity. But whenever I ask somebody if they want to make their sandwich a combo, they just say, no, but you know what, I would like to get chips and a drink with that. And I just think to myself sometimes, okay, like, what do you think a combo is? And Subway, I think, is one of those spots where policemen just love to go, so, you know, they get their discount. But there's this one guy in particular, I think he's a Marines. He was in the Marines at some point. And he always has his, who I'm assuming is his wife. She's just always dressed like a Bratz doll. Like, she always has, like, these dress-up, like, plastic pink earrings that dangle all the way down to her shoulders. And she has, like, a long-ass denim skirt on. And I'm like, what age are you? He comes in regularly, like, maybe a few times a week. But he always feels the need to shove his Marine ID in my face. Like, you had to reach all the way over the counter to get that close to me. Okay, not only do I recognize you and I give you a discount every time, but you always have your Marines hat on. So why would I not see that you clearly, you want a discount that bad? I know you want to be entitled to everything you've earned, but, like, dude, just calm down. You'll get your discount and then you can leave. And one time his wife asked me where the nearest Burlington was, and I knew where it was, so I was giving her directions, right? And it's not as if it's, like, impossible to find. Like, it's easy to find if you live in the area that I live in, but you really need, like, a GPS if you want to know exactly where it is. She just gave me this look like, oh my god. I was like, if you want to know where stuff is, you're gonna have to use the GPS most of the time to find it. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want me to do? And I'm probably a bad person for laughing about this, because, you know, people have tough lives, but, like, sometimes I'll just see that one person that just looks like they had a rough life, and they'll walk in there with the saddest attitude, and whenever I ask them a question about what they want in their sandwich, they're just like, I guess tomato. I'm like, yo, you have all this food in front of you and you're not happy? But going back to the responsibilities that one has to deal with working at Subway, if you're somebody who's closing, by the way, I hate closing, and that's most of what I do. Like, I rarely get a day shift. But anyways, if you're closing, really, when I first go in, when I'm closing, I go in at about 5, sometimes 3 o'clock. When I first go in, I'll start stocking the chips and the drinks. I might go back to the line because there might be a lot of people, and I might have to just jump on it real quick to help everybody out. But after that, I also have to clean the lobby, sometimes the bathroom, sometimes somebody will also do it for me. What I really like about Subway is that, at least the one I work at, everybody is pretty adamant about helping each other out. Like, maybe if it's 10 o'clock and I'm still sweeping the lobby because there were so many people that day in the line, then somebody else might help me do the bathrooms while I'm doing that, and we all get it done by the time it's ready to close. Some of the other things that you might be asked to do, really not even necessarily specifically closing, just if you work there, you might be asked to do the cookie cases, which means that you take all the cookies out, stock them back up, wipe down all the trays that they come in. And the good part about doing that is that if any broken cookies are in there, you get to put them aside and everybody can just snack on those. That's basically what I call a Subway employee diet. It's just broken cookies. because that's literally all we eat. Sometimes you might be asked to do those dreaded sauces, and if you work at Subway, you know that doing the sauces is probably the worst thing that you could do. Okay, I'm really exaggerating. Like, it's not that bad. It's just, like, at least where I work, you put all the all the sauces come in a bag, and you put them in the containers and put them in the fridge, and some people will literally just, like, cut the entire sauce pack open, so when you go to, like, pour the sauce into the container, like, all of it'll come out. The whole counter will be covered in ranch or whatever you happen to be pouring. Why was it so hard to just cut a little piece out of the corner so I wouldn't be left like this with my life in shambles? I'm not really gonna dwell on any of this stuff, but some of the other things you might have to do is cut tomatoes. Okay, I can't really think of anything else. There's things to do, trust me. You're not just gonna be sitting there all day. But, I mean, it's an enjoyable job. That's all I really have to say about that. And even though I only get paid $7.50 an hour compared to $9 when I was working at Chipotle, I really don't see it as a negative because I didn't enjoy working at Chipotle. Like, no matter what the pay was, at the end of the day, I didn't go home feeling accomplished. The paychecks seemed to be the only thing that I looked forward to, whereas with Subway, I actually look forward to interacting with customers and doing my job. You know, of course they have those nights where I'm just like, okay, why couldn't I just win the lottery? But, you know, I like working at Subway. But anyways, I hope you guys immensely enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, and share all down below. If you would like to see even more of me, I post videos every single Friday, so please make sure to subscribe always. I meant to say also, because you can't really subscribe to me always, you can only stay subscribed. But anyways, be sure to follow Arthur the Beagle on Instagram. I'll put his Instagram, and he only has an Instagram right now, you know. He's eventually going to expand, but I think he's taking things slow, aren't you, Arthur? Both of our social media links will be in the description box, and do you have anything to add, Arthur? I know you do. Girl, I ain't got time for that. Praise Jesus. Now, Arthur, get out my face. Okay, bye.